Bonjour, Kinawea. Welcome back to Ojibwe Language Table with West Jourdain. We are on lesson 12, talking about Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, part 2, negate. So we're going to negate our weather words that we talked about in lesson number 11. And we're going to keep the same format, go through the same words, but in this edition, this lesson, we're going to go and negate our words. If you don't know what negate means, is that we're going to talk about our weather terms in terms of it is not, it's not going to be, or it's not right now, it wasn't yesterday, and we'll get right into that. Ojibwe language table, Bonjour Kinawea, West Jourdain Indigenous, Gidaga Benesi Indigo, Magazine and Dudame. Misquaga miwi zagay ganing ninduan jaba ga asanin sa kagninda. So just a review of our opening, our self-introduction. Okay, so this first part's going to be a run back of what we did in lesson 11, and I'll go through it as quick as possible. Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing. How's the weather outside? Okay, Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing. Mijakwad. Mijakwad. Ningwakwad. Nuden. Nuden. Give me one. Give me one. And our last one here, we have Zugipun. Zugipun. Or Zugipun. Zugipun. Either one is correct, however you choose to say that one. Okay, Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, past tense. Aaniin, ezhiwebak, present tense, sorry. Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, nungum. Past tense, Aaniin, ga, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, bijinago. And future tense, Aaniin, wa, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, wabang. Okay, so we have nungum, bijinago, and wabang. Okay, so when we negate our weather terms, as you can see on here on the top, you see where it says we add gawin plus our weather term plus either sinun or zinun. Okay, so if the weather word ends in D, you drop the D and you add sinun. If the weather word ends in N, keep the N and add zinun. Okay, so here's your difference here. If it ends in D, for example, you drop the D and add sinun. If it ends in N, keep the N and add zinun. Okay, example for the word mijakwad. Gawin mijakwasinun. Gawin mijakwasinun. And notice how that flows a little better. We drop that D on there, and we add sinun. Gawin mijakwasinun. Okay, example number 2, nuden, with the letter N on the end. We keep that letter N and we just add zinun on there. So it sounds better and it flows better. If you hear it, it sounds like gawin nudin zinun. Gawin nudin zinun. Okay, so it's got that nasal effect to it when we keep the N on there. Gawin nudin zinun. Okay, gawin mijakwasinun. So those are examples of how we're going to go through our weather words today, negating them, talking about that it wasn't, it isn't, or it's not going to be in that sense today. So here we go. Aaniin, ezhiwebak, agwajiing, nuungum. How's the weather outside today? And these ones are negated, so we'll run through these. Gawin mijakwasinun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin mijakwasinun agwajiing nuungum. It is not good weather outside today. Okay, moving right along. Gawin ningwakwasinun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin ningwakwasinun agwajiing nuungum. It is not cloudy outside today. Gawin nudinzanun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin nudinzanun agwajiing nuungum. It is not windy outside today. Gawin gimme one zanun agwajiing nuungum. Give me one. Gawin, give me one zanun agwajiing nuungum. Hey, it's not raining outside today. Gawin zugi pun zanun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin zugi pun zanun agwajiing nuungum. It is not snowing outside today. Okay, so there's our two examples. If you look at our top one, Gawin mijikwasanun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin mijakwasanun agwajiing nuungum. And then our other examples down here, Gawin nudinzanun agwajiing nuungum. Gawin nudinzanun agwajiing nuungum. So notice that little pattern that we have from our examples in the first previous page there. We dropped that D here on mijakwad and added sinun. Whereas on nudin, we kept the N and added Z. Gawin nudin zinun. Also same for gimme one. Gawin gimme one zinun. And zugipun. Gawin zugipun zinun. Okay, so those are our negated weather terms saying, it's not happening. This isn't happening. This type of weather isn't happening. So that's for nuungum, present tense. So we're going to move on to past tense. How Aaniin ga ezhiwebak agwajiing bijinago. How was the weather outside yesterday? So we have Gawin gi mijakwasanun agwajiing bijinago. Gawin gi mijakwasanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't good weather outside yesterday. And notice on when we build our word into past tense, or when we ask the question, it's ga, and then when we tell what the weather is, it goes back to gi. It goes back to the first form here. So Gawin gi mijakwasanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't good weather yesterday. Okay, moving along. Gawin gi Gawin gi ningwakwasanun agwajiing bijinago. Gawin gi ningwakwasanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't cloudy outside yesterday. Okay, moving along. Gawin gi nudinzanun agwajiing bijinago. Gawin gi nudinzanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't cloudy outside or windy outside yesterday, sorry. Gawin gi nudinzanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't windy outside yesterday. Okay, moving along. Gawin gi kimiwanzanun agwajiing bijinago. Gawin gi kimiwanzanun agwajiing bijinago. It wasn't raining outside yesterday. And notice our consonant vowel change stays the same, and we keep the N and we add zanun. Okay, a lot of little things to remember when you're speaking these words or even writing them out. So Gawin gi, past tense. Kimi one, give me one in our past tense, our consonant vowel change. Zinun, Gawin zinun is our negated tense, our negated word. So we had Aaniin, Zanoon on this one. Agwajiing talking about outside, and Bijinago yesterday. Aaniin gikimi one Zanoon, Agwajiing Bijinago. It wasn't raining outside yesterday. And our last one, Aaniin ki sugi pun Zanoon, Agwajiing Bijinago. Aaniin ki sugi pun Zanoon, Agwajiing Bijinago. It wasn't snowing outside yesterday. Aaniin ki sugi pun Zanoon, Agwajiing Bijinago. It wasn't snowing outside yesterday. Okay, so a lot of things going on here. We have our negated word, saying that it's not Aaniin, either Sinoon or Zinoon. And then we have our gi or we, you're going to see in our next one for past or present tense. Consonant vowel change going on, from Z to S, G to K in these two words. And then we have agwajiing, outside. Not necessarily have to talk about outside specifically because none of these weather terms can happen inside. But you can throw that on there just to give, location. And then bijinago is our past tense word for our word for yesterday. Okay, so much things going on in our Ojibwe language when we talk about our weather, when we talk about changing the tenses of our weather, and also adding the negated side of our weather, talking about something that's not. So I don't know if you can see this behind my little screen up here. I don't know if I move it, if it makes a difference. Aaniin wa ezhiwebak agwajiing wabang. Okay, what's the weather outside? How will the weather be outside tomorrow? And of course, we're in the negation lesson, so you're going to see the negated terms right here. Same as gi. Okay, so we have Aaniin we mijakwasanun agwajiing wabang. Aaniin we mijakwasanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be good weather outside tomorrow. So if you're your own little personal weatherman, and you know how the weather is going to be, you can predict the weather. These are some of the terms for you. And so we can talk about that, if we know how the weather is going to be. Nowadays, we can talk, we know the forecast. We can watch the news and see the weather and get a prediction from there. So then we can turn around and possibly use these words to other people. So our first one, Aaniin we mijakwasanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be good weather outside tomorrow. Okay, Aaniin we ningwakwasanun agwajiing wabang. Aaniin we ningwakwasanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be cloudy outside tomorrow. Aaniin we nudin zanun agwajiing wabang. Aaniin we nudin zanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be windy outside tomorrow. Okay, maybe you put your tobacco out and prayed for good weather, bad weather, or that's how we're talking about future tense. Aaniin we kimi one zanun agwajiing wabang. Aaniin we kimi one zanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be raining outside tomorrow. Aaniin we kimi one zanun agwajiing wabang. And our last one here for our lesson number 12, we have Aaniin we sugi pun zanun agwajiing wabang. Aaniin we sugi pun. Let me try that again. Aaniin we sugi pun zanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be snowing outside tomorrow. Aaniin we sugi pun zanun agwajiing wabang. It will not be snowing outside tomorrow. So those are our weather terms in terms of negation, meaning the negative terms we use to say that it's not going to be, it is not, or it wasn't. And that's our presentation, our lesson for today. Miigwech Bizindawig, Minawa Miigwech Ki Kanawaban Damig. Thank yous all for listening and thank yous for watching. Gigawabamin and Nim, Minawa. I will see yous all again. Aho. Gigawabamin.